Hey everyone, it's Warriors NRL Fanatics here. Hope you're all doing well. If you are a new viewer to this YouTube channel or a returning viewer and you haven't done so already, please make sure you don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribing really shows your support for the content that I do, and it's much appreciated, and it's absolutely free as well. So don't forget, if you are a new viewer or returning viewer, hit that subscribe button, click the subscribe button down below, and don't forget, make sure you're liking the videos as well. Please click the thumbs up button on the video as well. It only takes a second to do, and yeah, it really does help in terms of the channel, and also it pushes out the content to more viewers as well. Now, I'm going to preview our upcoming clash, NRL Round 11 against the Dolphins, and the One New Zealand Warriors take on the Dolphins at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane on Saturday the 17th of May, kicking off at 3 o'clock Australia time, so that'll be 5 p.m. New Zealand time, and of course it'll be on Foxtel and KO in Australia and Sky Sports in New Zealand. Now, coming into this clash, the Dolphins coming off a win over the Eels last week. I think it was 20 points to 16, and a very close one down in Sydney. As for the Warriors themselves, coming off a very tough, gritty game against the Dragons, winning via field goal, 15 points to 14. Luke Metcalf field goal down there in the gong, and it really extended the Warriors' winning run and our current wins on the board at 7-2, currently sitting in second spot on the NRL ladder coming into this clash at Suncorp Stadium. And that's right, we are playing at Suncorp Stadium for the second week in a row, and of course we played at Suncorp a couple of weeks ago where we won at Magic Round, and we were the home team beating the Cowboys down there in a very close game. Now, for the Finns, boy, look, if you look at their form this season, started off the season really poorly, 0-3 to start the year, and went on a bit of a winning streak, and then they went down to the Sydney Roosters at home in Brisbane, and then they went down to Sydney, of course, to beat the Parramatta Eels down in a very close encounter. As for the Warriors, on a bit of a winning streak at the moment, and we are looking to continue that winning streak going into the next couple of weeks. And boy, if you look at our games coming up, they aren't going to be any easier, no doubt about it, because we've got the Raiders coming up at Go Media Mount Smart Stadium. That's right, Go Media at Mount Smart. And yeah, that game coming up, that will be a cracking match between the Raiders and the Warriors. But also we've got the likes of, we've got the Broncos and Penriths, and we've also got some very tricky matches with the Sharks in Sydney as well. They ain't going to be the most, no game is easy at the moment, if you look at the results this season so far. It is a really unpredictable competition right now. So, look, in terms of this game, we are high on confidence at the moment. Look, we're not being at our best in terms of performances, like Webby says in the press conferences, and I do agree. We've started off very well in first halves, and the second halves we were just, hanging on. And of course, we've had a few injuries as well, which has not helped. We've had a few players out, but we're still getting the results, and that's what all matters at the moment. And I know people say, look, the Warriors are pretenders, and they're only just, they're not really being convincing. And look, I get it, we've not been convincing, but like last year, if you looked at the Warriors games, they weren't able to win these close matches. So that's my argument to people that say we haven't been convincing and we don't deserve to be sitting in the top four. I think we do deserve to be sitting in the top four at the moment, based on how gritty we have been. So look, do I believe we're a top two side at the moment, and do I reckon we're the second best side in the comp? I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say no. I don't think we are at the moment, despite sitting here. I think it's just we have been able to, get a bit more from the side than what other teams have not been able to do. So you've got to give credit to the boys for being able to grind out these results with the players we've had out. Fisher Harris, RTS, we've had we've had a few outs this season so far, but we've also had our depth being tested in the back line as well. Yet again, Capewell playing centre. It's been crazy. But looking at this game, the Finns themselves are a real dangerous side. When they're on, they are really tough to stop. Obviously, attacking-wise, I think they are brilliant, but defensively, they can leak a lot of points, as we can see this season so far. So, I think the Warriors, if they look at this game, it's another game where it's going to be a real tough grind, I personally feel. I know the Dolphins are 12th on the ladder, but does 12th on the ladder represent how the Dolphins are doing? I don't think it does. I think they're going to be another team that will be challenging for the top 8 come the end of the season. So I think they're potentially a top 8 contender, in my opinion. But as for this game and the way the Warriors will go in and approach this game, look, like we've been approaching the past couple of weeks, don't read too much into our ladder position. Don't get ahead of ourselves based on what we've been doing, and just stay fully focused mentally, because the side at the moment, I think, really is just scratching the surface with the results. We've been probably, I will say this, we've been a little bit fortunate and a bit lucky. Take my biased hat off and one-eyed Warriors fans' glasses off and say we have been a bit fortunate with some of the games over the past couple of weeks to get away with wins. But, at the end of the day, it's 2 points that really matters on the ladder. So, just look, so proud with the way we've been able to grind out wins at the moment. Look, it's not convincing, it's not great, it's not perfect. We've had our moments where we've clocked off in second halves and not being able to, go on and put enough points on the board, and we're making it really tough for ourselves. And, it's really, our defence is just grinding teams, and making teams very frustrated that they can't get through us. And the Dragons last week scored 3 tries, we scored 2 tries, and they still lost the game. And it just shows how resilient we've been. And then, of course, the Cowboys game, we were up by a handy lead, and I was there at Suncorp Stadium for Magic Round. We were up by a handy lead in the first half, and then in the second half, we just, hanging on to our lead, which is crazy in itself. But like I say, like last year, we weren't able to, get those results, and we weren't able to win the close matches. And look, I have no doubt we will find our real confidence in our attack as well, and we'll be able to score more points and make it more comfortable, because that is going to come. It's going to come with time, and it will come at some stage. And hopefully it's not too late. Because we don't want to be every week, relying on just relying on a couple of moments to get us over the line. We want to be able to make it more of a convincing result, and not putting ourselves under so much pressure. So, yeah, look, and that's what I think really is the difference right now, is the fact that we've just been resilient enough to grind ourselves to results. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to get overexcited, get ahead of myself, despite looking at the table position, because right now I don't think we're the second best team in the comp. And that's me being honest. I think we are going to be a team that's challenging for top 4, top 6, and that's where I stand on the team at the moment. So, hey, who knows? Anything could change. My mind could change over the next couple of months, and if we're still grinding out wins and still seeing where we're sitting, then I probably will say we're the second best team in the comp. But at the moment, I'm going to say we're not. We're just scratching the surface for just getting the wins. But look, I've got to give ourselves some credit with the way we've been going with our defensive side of our game, and that's been improving, which is great to see. But hopefully our attack, can start clicking a bit more. We can start executing some more, good attacking plays, and when we get those opportunities, on the opposition line. So, but this is another test for us. Look, this for me. If you look at the Dolphins, they're another side, just like the Cowboys. Very good attacking side. They've got the back line, Hamiso, Thibaut Fidel, Jermaine Asako. They've got a very good backline, and that's something that the Warriors probably don't have in terms of out and right pace at the moment. Or over the years, actually, I think we haven't had any outright pace on our outside backs for years now. So that's probably the thing that's probably going to be a bit of a little weakness to the Warriors is the outside backs in terms of their pace and speed. Because once you see the likes of your Hamasos in full flight, it's going to be tough to really stop him. Then you've got your powerful centre in Herbie Farnworth, very strong, powerful, quick centre as well, and probably one of the best centres in the game. So, man, this game for me, look, I go into this one extremely confident, but not overconfident enough to be real cocky and say we'll win at 13 plus, because I think right now the Warriors have shown signs that they've been toughing out wins, grinding it out. So I think if we are going to get the result on Saturday, it is going to be the fact that we're going to have to tough it out again, and that's what I think could really happen in this game. But just looking at the lineups as well, just going through the Dolphins and Warriors team. So the Warriors, we'll go through the team for the Wars, and starting at fullback is Chance Nickel-Klokstad, CNK. On the wing is Dylan Watini-Zalesniak, and in the centres is Adam Pompey and Kurt Capewell, with Tane Tuapiki on the other wing. So the back line remains unchanged from last week. And then the halves, of course, of Shanaris Tavita and Luke Metcalf, who continue to show improvements. And look, I think they're only going to get better. Look, it's still not quite in sync gelling yet, but it's gonna continue to improve and evolve over the next couple of months, and that's the thing. And we're seeing the likes of Luke Metcalf really step up and improve in that 7 jersey. A lot of people said in round one, after round one, that he wasn't a 7, and people wanted him moved back out of the 7 jersey. I said give it some time and patience, and looks what happened. Look what happens now. I know he wasn't perfect against the Dragons, but he had a very good first half, and then of course second half wasn't the greatest, but he still managed to get us over the line and then got the field goal, which was so important. He's been showing up in those big moments over the past couple of weeks, especially against the Cowboys. We scored a try, especially against the Dragons, where he scored a try as well and got the field goal. So he's really stepping up, and of course the goal kicking is still a little bit of a concern, but look, I'm sure he will continue to improve that, and we'll see him get better in that department of the game. And controlling the game is something we want to see from Metcalf, as well as use his running game, which is something he is real threat at halfback for us there. But Fisher Harris is back, and it's a massive in for us, huge in, because he brings that experience. He brings another edge defensively to the side as well. And he brings that leadership to the side. So it's good to have JFH back in the side. Bit worried only a couple months ago that I thought it was going to be a long-term injury and it was going to be out for quite a while, but it's only 4 games, which is good for us as well. So yeah, good to see JFH back, and he's going to bring so much to the 4-pack, extra punch. Look, our 4-pack's been doing well without James Fisher-Harris anyway in our past couple wins, so it hasn't been that big of a blow, but it's also a big thing to have him back as well. Wade Egan, hooker there, and of course currently the best hooker in the comp at the moment, in my opinion. I think he's definitely putting up his hand for selection for Origin for New South Wales, but Wade Egan there, man, he's been in good form lately. Barnett, the ever-reliable Mitchell Barnett at prop, and Leka Haleasima, who is a real talent, and man, he is continuing to improve each week, and it's good to see that his form has been warranted over the past couple of weeks with a starting spot in the side. Murata Niokore is partnering him in the second row with Aaron Clark. They're ever improving. Great form at the moment, Aaron Clark is showing, and he is currently our lock. And look, for me, signing of the year at the moment, in my opinion, So the bench reads Tamari Martin, 14, Jacob Laban, Dimitri Vamuanga and Samuel Healy in the 17. And in our reserves of Eddie Eremia Torava, Tanner Stowers-Smith, Tanner Boyd, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. That's right, RTS naming the reserves once again this week. And there was some confidence around the club last week that he was going to play. And unfortunately failed his fitness test, so he wasn't playing last week. But I'm going to say it now. I think he will be playing this game on Saturday, and he will come in to the side. And I reckon he will come in place of Tane Tuapiki. And I know people will say, "Oh, that's a bit harsh on Tane Tuapiki," and I agree. He deserves to be in the side. Everyone should know how I really rate Tane so highly, and it's just unfortunate, man. Someone has to miss out, and it's probably going to be Tane. So yeah, I think RTS will come into the wing. And I reckon he'll pass his fitness test and come in for Tane Tuapiki. But there is also an argument that Tane could probably stay on the side and Roger could go to centres, which I can see the argument on that one. But I don't see Webby putting Roger Tuivasa-Sheck in the centres. But, who knows? Anything could happen there. But I think Tane will come in. I think Roger will come in for Tane, and I think Roger will be on the wing. And then, of course, Moala Graham Taufoa is the other reserve. Head coach is Andrew Webster for the side. Now, for the Dolphins, just looking at their team. So, fullback is Hamiso Tebow Fidel, Jermaine Asakos on the wing, and Jake Averillo in the centres with Herbie Farnworth. Jack Bostock on the other wing, and Cody Nikorima 5'8" with Isaiah Katoa. Francis Molo, is the prop, and Kurt Donahue hooker, with Felice Kafusi in the second in the prop position there, with Kenny Fuyaki in the second row, with Tim Gilbert and Ray Stones the lock. Bench reads Harrison Graham, Mark Nichols, Josh Kerr, and Cornell Limu, and the reserve 18th man Sean O'Sullivan, Oregon Keeley, Max Figai, Kenneth Bromwich, and Junior Tupou. And the coach for the Dolphins is Christian Wolf. Now, the referee for this game is Peter Goff. Now, look, as for the Warriors lineup, very happy with the side that we've named this week. No real complaints, to be quite honest. Obviously, look, for me, the biggest thing will be RTS, right? That's the big question with RTS, and I've already given my thoughts on where I think he's going to be in the side, and I reckon he will be. As for the bench, I think we'll see. Look, I don't see us playing with Sam Healy and Tamari Martin on the bench. I don't think both of them will be playing. I think one of them will drop out. And I reckon that Tamari Martin will drop out of the 17 come game day. And I think we will see Sam Healy keep a spot in the 17. And I think there's a potential for a debut for Tanner Stowers-Smith or an Eddie Eremia Tuava. But I think we'll add... Look, if you look at the Warriors and how our bench has looked for a while, we usually have another prop on the bench. So I think we'll see Tanner Stowers-Smith make his NRL debut, and I reckon he will come off the bench, and Tamari Martin will drop out. So the bench will probably read for me. It'll be Tanner Stowers-Smith, Laban, Vaibulwanga, and Healy, and I think that will be the bench for the Warriors for this game. I think it'll be completely different to what the bench is been named for Teamless Tuesday there, so that will be the bench for this game. But yeah, that's the way I see it going for the Warriors lineup come kickoff time. Now, threats for me from this Dolphins side. Who do the Warriors need to look out for? Well, it's got to be the outside backs. And the Dolphins, look, for me, if you look at their strengths, who's got the wood over each other, it's probably the Dolphins for me in terms of the outside backs, because they've got the pace and the power as well, with Herbie Farnworth in the centres. You've got Bostock as well on the other wing. who is more capable of scoring a try over us there. Then you've got Hammer Thibaut Fidel as well, the Hammer. The Warriors are going to have to look out for the Hammer. The Hammer is going to be a real threat for the Warriors' defence, especially if he's really on. You've got the pace of the Hammer. That's something that's going to give me a lot of nerves come this game. A lot of nerves for Warriors fans as well. But I think it's really their backs. I think that's probably what they've got the wood over for me. In terms of us, our strength is going to be our forward pack. I think our forward pack's probably a lot better than the Dolphins, in my opinion. The Dolphins' forward pack's decent, but it's probably it's an underrated forward pack, in my opinion. I think it's an underrated forward pack. It's probably not a forward pack that's going to have the wood over the Warriors in terms of meters on the field, in terms of running meters. But look, it's not bad. It's not bad, but I think the Warriors have, for me, in my opinion, have the massive wood over, because we've got the likes of Fisher Harris, Barnett, Halasima, Murata Niokore, and Clark as well, who's been in just brilliant form and look, probably the most informed player in the competition this season. In terms of a lock, I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably the lock of the year at the moment right now, for me, for the Warriors and in the NRL's competition. So yeah, but yeah, look, I just think that our forwards, I've got the strongest. We've got the strongest forward pack in terms of what we can bring with the meters and what they're going to give us on the field. But I think the most exciting battle I'm looking out for on the field is probably the halves. The halves, because you've got Cody Nikorima up against Chanel Harris-Tavita, and you've got Isaiah Katoa up against Luke Metcalf. Now, Isaiah Katoa has been in very good form this season for the Dolphins. In their wins, Katoa has really played a big part in their games, that they've been getting across the line. So Katoa, with his kicking game and his running game as well, is a massive threat. So, look out for Katoa. I think if he's going to put a few bombs up for the likes of Waltini Zalesniaks, CNAC as well. They're going to be a constant threat for those players. In particular, I know DWZ's good in the air anyways, but defensively as well, you look out for Katoa's and Nikorimas to really try and expose those Warriors outside backs, in particular of Waltini Zalesniak, Capewell, and Tane Tuapiki as well, who's defensively not the best, albeit he is playing on the wing. So he's not terrible, but defensively he's obviously going to be a bit of a target. He was last week against the Dragons, and he's been in in a few games for us as well. So, and based on the fact that Tane's probably the smallest winger on the field as well. So, and saying that our backline will be targeted defensively for me, and of course you look at that backline is with all the makeshift centre, and Kurt Capewell is not really centre as well. So that sort of thing that gets me a real worried in this clash, because you got your Herbie Farmers and that can expose the Warriors outside backs as well. So I think the halves are going to be exciting to watch with Katoa and Harris-Tavita, Metcalf and Nikorima. Look, they're going to be the keys. Nikorima especially and Isaiah Katoa are going to be the keys for the Dolphins as well, because that's going to give the Dolphins a platform to work off in terms of also feeding their outside backs and then their forwards laying a platform for them. But yeah, I think that's going to be the key for the Dolphins. For the Warriors, it's going to be going to be important for the Warriors is defensively, and defensively is going to be a thing that the Warriors will be trying to make sure they don't leak too many points in this game. And look, they didn't do so last week, so hopefully they can carry on that particular form. Obviously, defensively against the Cowboys, we weren't the greatest in the second half. Started off well, got off to a good lead, and then the second half was a real tough, hard watch, and that's what I'm really hoping that this week's game we won't see anything similar to what we saw against the Dragons in the second half and against the Cowboys in the second half. So yeah, look, no doubt about it, I am really confident about us getting the win in this game. Also a little bit nervous as well. Always am as a Warriors fan, no matter what, and doesn't matter where a team is situated on the ladder. If you look at the NRL as a whole at the moment, it's so unpredictable. Results wise, anyone can beat anyone on their day. In this NRL competition, it's showing at the moment that it doesn't matter what team is where on the ladder. It doesn't matter how they're playing and their form. They're more than capable of getting over the line. And I think this is another test for the Warriors because this is another away trip as well. So if you look at our trips the last couple of weeks, we've been to Melbourne, we've been to Sydney, we've been to Brisbane, So yeah, it's the next couple of weeks are going to be a big test as well. So, look, prediction-wise, I'm going to go with the Warriors to win this game. Now, I think for me, I'll go Warriors 26, Dolphins 18. 26-18. And once again, it'll be a high-scoring game, and I think the Dolphins will, I think they'll start off decently. We'll get in front at half-time. I'll say we'll have a 16-12 lead at half-time. And, we'll go on score a couple points second half to go on with the job and get the win. But, look, wouldn't surprise me if it was 1 point, 4 points. I hope it's 13 plus. I really do. But do I see it being 13 plus? Probably not. But hey, I hope I'm proven wrong. Look, I hope it's not 13 plus to the Dolphins because that would be a shame. But hopefully it's a good game, and hopefully we can get across the line and get the 2 points and get our 8th win of the season. Go 8-2 for the season so far, and keep ourselves inside the top 4 on the NRL ladder for another week. But yeah, my first try scorer, I'm going to go with. We'll say Darren Watini's the leading out first try scorer for the Warriors. Anytime try scorer, I think the hammer will go over. And another try scorer will back in. We're going to go with. I'll go with Luke Metcalf. Why not? Luke Metcalf's in try scoring form at the moment, and he's been playing very, very well the last couple of weeks. And he is only, he's only going to improve and get better in that 7 jersey. And look, I think he is starting to find his mojo a bit in that jersey as a whole. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What is your prediction for this game? Are you predicting a Warriors win? How close do you think this contest is going to be? I think it's going to be another tough, tense game. And once again, I will be, biting fingernails, and my nerves will be really high whilst watching this game on Saturday at Suncorp Stadium. And I will be there. I will be attending this game at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. There will be a vlog on the YouTube channel as well. Looking forward to being there. Looking forward to attending and getting amongst the Warriors fans up there in Brisbane. So make sure you like this video. Click that thumbs up button on the video. Click the like button. Please hit that like button if you haven't done so already. It's much appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Please hit that subscribe button. It does help the channel. It helps the algorithm, and it's absolutely free. And like, share, and subscribe. Do all the following because it really does help, and it pushes the content out to more viewers in the Warriors community, fan community, or the NRL community as a whole. But thanks for watching the video, everyone. Up the wires, and we'll see you guys all in the next one.